Hello everybody, thank you for joining us today for our MyEventRunner webinar. So we'll go ahead and get started. So today we will be going over the MyEventRunner system. Okay, my name is Shawn. I am a support specialist here at ClubRunner. So just a few things I want to go over today in the webinar. So we're going to go over creating a MyEventRunner event. We're going to set up an event with multiple ticket types and add-ons. We're going to set up the event to accept online payment, and we're going to view the registration information. So just a few things before we get started. If you have any questions, you can definitely raise your hand, and I'll unmute you. You can ask a question, or just ask the question in the questions box. I'll try to keep an eye on it as we go, so that way I can answer your questions as we go. But we'll also have a time for questions at the end. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started here. So I'm already logged into our member area section. So on the menu bar near the top, go ahead and click on Events. And first thing I want to talk about is we have two event systems in ClubRunner. So we have Event Planner and MyEventRunner. So I just want to quickly cover the difference. So Event Planner is for your basic or standard event where there's a fee. There's one set fee. Everybody pays that fee and you're registered. With MyEventRunner, it's for more complex, larger scale events. So for things that require multiple ticket types, add-ons, if you need to gather additional information about the registrant, you're probably looking at the MyEventRunner. So that's what we'll cover today. I just wanted to quickly go over the two there because we do have two different systems. So we'll go ahead and click MyEventRunner. Okay, you can see we have quite a bit here. This is just our webinar account, but I'll go ahead and click New Event. Okay, so the first thing we'll see up at the top here is select the version. So we have a Pro option and a Lite option. So you can select the Pro or the Lite depending on your specific event's needs. So it's not something that you have to subscribe to for the year. It's on an event-by-event basis. So let's take a look at the difference between Pro and Lite. So we have a nice little table here that shows you what's included with Lite versus Pro. The cost is $1 per registration for Pro, whereas Lite is free. But the Pro does come with additional features such as the reports. You have a single or couples package. You have the early bird pricing, which you can set up, which we'll take a look at the time ranges. We also have the pay by check option, so if you want to accept pay by check, as well as additional questionnaires. So you can definitely create an event in either Lite or Pro. Depending on your needs, you may need to upgrade to the Pro, which again is $1 per registration. So for the webinar, we're going to go ahead and click Pro. Okay, we're going to go and we'll name the event. Let's just say Gala Dinner. Okay, the code is automatically generated, so that's okay. We're going to select our currency and our language. So event start time and date and time is when the event actually starts. And I do apologize, we're using an older computer here, so you might see a little issue there. So we'll go ahead and select January 31st, so end of the month. Okay, and we can set the time as well. So let's say 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. So that's for the actual event. Now we also have the option to enable and disable the form on specific dates. So this is when you're going to open up the event for registration. So let's say we want to open this up January 1st, which has obviously passed. And we want to disable this on, let's say, a couple days before the event starts. So we want to disable this on the 29th. Now, one thing to note, if you do use the time option here, it is in Eastern Standard Time, so you can use this link here to convert it if you are in a different time zone. So if we scroll down here under status, we have a few different options. So allow ClubRunner member login. So this is something that we'll take a look at. We do usually suggest that clubs disable this because what happens is this option will actually display a login box where members can enter in their login name and password. But if your event is not just for members, it's for non-members as well, a lot of times the non-members might not read that the login is optional, and they might get confused and wonder why they can't register without logging in. So you can choose to enable that if you want. What this does is it allows members to go in, log in, and it'll autofill their information on the registration form. So for now, we'll go ahead and disable that. We have the option to allow duplicate registrations. We'll disable that. You can also allow users to edit their registration. We have an option to publish registered attendee list. So if you want the list of registrants to be public, you can enable that. Display tax inclusive pricing, as well as we have all of our show options. So if we enable all of these options of show on calendar, show on events list, show on homepage, and show on bulletin, it will show up on the events widget for those areas. And we can also show on district calendar. Now down here we have, in this blue section here, options for pro events only. So I know I mentioned earlier we have, for pro we have the double or single option. So basically what that means is you can create a ticket that covers 2 people rather than 1. So if it's up to you, if you want a couple to just purchase the 1 ticket for both, you can definitely enable that. We'll keep it single for now. You can separate the group for guests. So when you do double, it'll be your main registrant and then your group or your guest. And you can hide all pricing and payment labels on the actual form itself. And we can enable pay by check. So we're going to go ahead and enable pay by check. And we will click save. Perfect. Now we see up at the top here, event saved successfully. We have all of our information here. You'll notice at the moment our event is in draft. So in order to publish it, we'll have to scroll down here and click here, the public URL. We'll click publish event. And then once I click that URL, the event will appear, the registration form. And if we scroll down here, actually, we do have the event contacts. So if you want to add event contacts, you can click this. And you can either select a member, so you can select the actual member from a drop-down, or if it's a non-member, you can enter in their information manually. Go ahead and leave that for now. So now that our event is set up, we're going to walk through kind of the different parts of the form designer. So this is how we're going to build the actual registration form. So first thing we will take a look at is the attendee groups. So on the left here under form designer, we'll go ahead and click attendee groups. And you can see right now we just have one group, and it's for all attendees. So say we have different pricing depending on the attendee. So say we have pricing for members versus pricing for non-members. We can set that up using attendee groups. So I'm going to go ahead and let me edit this. I'm just going to say, let's just say members. Just enter a code. We'll click save. And whoops, I'll cancel that. And I'm going to click add a new group. And we're going to say non-member. So we'll just type in non. And we'll go ahead and click save. So now you see here there are 2 different attendee groups, and it does give you a little warning up at the top that when you add attendee groups, you have to go through each of your packages to ensure you update the pricing, and we will see that here shortly, but it does give you that warning up at the top. You'll also see that there is a little box down here for the help information. So if you wanted to type in some help text, we'll go ahead and just click Save, just so you can see what shows up. So you can see here, help save successfully. And that's perfect. So that's how you set up the different attendee groups. Now we'll also quickly look at, just before we go in and start creating the packages or the tickets, we're going to take a look at the time ranges as well. So time range here is where you can actually go in and set, you know, the early bird pricing, for example. You can set pricing depending on the time or the date. So you can see here from January 1st to January 30th, which is the registration time frame, we have minimum dues 100%. We'll go ahead and add a milestone. Let's just set it for, that's okay, January 22nd. We'll go ahead and click Save. And again, you get this warning to let you know that you do have to go in. If you have already created your packages, you'll have to go back and update those, the pricing for the packages for the new milestone or time range. So we can see here before January 21st, minimum due. So we can actually go ahead and edit this. You can change this to minimum amount required. We'll go ahead and just click Save. We want them to pay the 100%. And I'll show you how we can actually set the price. So we'll go ahead and save that. So we have 100%. So let's go ahead and we'll skip promo codes for now. We're going to add the packages so we can see the changes that we've actually made already. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add New Package. So I'm going to select this as an individual ticket. So there's the title, here's the description. We won't worry about tax, but if you want, you can set the tax there as well. Maximum registrations allowed, so you can actually limit how many of these packages are sold. You can enter in a package code to identify which package it is, and you can set how many people are covered. We'll leave it for 1. And you can see down here the changes that we made. So we have members and we have non-members, so those are the 2 attendee groups. And we have before January 21st and after January 22nd. So we have the time ranges as well. So here we can set the pricing. So let's say for members, this is going to be 75. Actually, let's do 50 before the date, 75 after the date. And for non-members, let's do 75 before the date and 100 after the date. So we'll go ahead and click Save. And now we've created our, essentially the ticket, so what people will be purchasing. Now let me show you, if I go back to, let's go back to time range. And I'm going to set a new milestone. And I'm going to set it to, oops. Let's go back here. Let's set it for, what's today, the 8th. We'll do the 10th. Okay, and save. So now you can see here it's added a new time range, but if I go back to the packages and I click Edit, you'll see that $0 is there for the new time range. So it's very important that you go through after adding in a new time range, that you come into here and add in the pricing, because you don't want to leave your packages open to $0 if that's not the case. So I'll just go ahead back here to time ranges, And let's just delete this one. We'll go ahead and just double check, make sure our package is okay. Perfect. So that's kind of how the attendee groups and the time ranges work. Again, if I added a new attendee group, it'll add it here, but it will be $0. So you do have to make sure you go back in and update that. So we'll go ahead and just cancel. We didn't make any changes. And I'm going to go ahead and add a new package. I'll just call it table of 5. Add a description. Just put, it's okay, 200, 250, and then this is 250 and maybe 300. There we go. So we'll go ahead and save it. And now we see we have 2 different packages. And you'll see the note here, only 1 package can be selected per registration. So you can think of these as the ticket. You're either going to have an individual ticket or a table. You're not going to have both. If there's something that you want to have multiple of, you'd put them under the add-ons. So I'll show you that in just a second here. You'll also notice down here we have help information. So again, depending on the page, you can set up different help text. So this is help text for the packages. Here we go, we'll go ahead and save that. Now on the left here, as we work our way down, we'll click add-ons. So add-ons are kind of like packages, but you can select multiple of them, or you can select none of them. It's completely optional. So right now we don't have any. We'll go ahead and click add new add-on. And so let's just say we want the option for an additional ticket. One extra ticket. And it looks very much the same. We have our code, the tax. Down here we have max registrations allowed. And because add-ons can be, registrants can select how many add-ons they want, you can actually limit how many per person we have. So let's just say, we'll go ahead and just save this. So say additional regardless is $50. We'll go ahead and click save. And you can also add things that you're selling. So if I click add new add-on, let's just say we're selling some pins. And say we only have 50 of these pins and we want to limit to maybe 5 per person. These are $20. We'll go ahead and click save. And we didn't add a description, but that's okay. So that's perfect. So we have now we have our attendee group set up. We have our time ranges. We also have our packages and add-ons. But let's get to the promo codes here. So say you want to offer promo codes and distribute them. We can do that with MyEventRunner. So we'll go ahead and click Add New Promo Code. So we'll just say new promo code. Its code is new. And you have different types. So you can have a separate price group, which will allow you to set the price separately. You have a percentage discount or a flat discount. We'll just go ahead and click flat discount. And here you can set the discount for the promo code. So if we want $10 off, we can set that. Now down here we also have a start date and an end date. So we can set when these can actually be used. So we'll do January 1st to let's say the 16th. So after the 16th, this promo code will no longer be valid. And then down at the bottom, we have the option to either make it unlimited, or we can set how many of these promo codes can be used. So if you want only, for example, 10 of them to be redeemed, then you can set it here. Or if it doesn't matter, you can set it to unlimited. You'll see that option goes away. So go ahead and click Save. And you can now see the promo code is here and when it's active till. Now what's really cool about this is you can actually see how many of the codes have been used as they're being used up. Okay, so a few more things to get through here under Form Designer. So we have our questionnaire and our standard questionnaire. So the main difference is the standard questionnaire is the default questions that are included. So if obviously you can customize these, you can add questions, and you can disable them, but these are going to be the first questions that the registrant sees. So if you only need specific pieces of information, we can go ahead and unselect what we don't need. So we'll go ahead and do that. And you don't have to save it, it will save automatically for you. But if I go to questionnaire, this you can create your own, and we'll see it all in action in a second here. So if I click add question, we have different types. So we have true, false, long text, short text, or selectable. So if I select selectable, we can choose if this is required. So if I click yes, that means the registrant will have to answer this question in order to register. Okay, and we'll say, please select a main meal. So that's the title, and then we're going to add in our value. So I'm going to click add value. We'll say chicken, save it, and we'll just keep going. Another value, steak, add value, vegetarian. Oops. And save. So now we have our three options here. We'll go ahead and click Save. Perfect. And now we have that question there. So let's take a look. We've done a lot so far, so let's take a look at the changes we've made. On the left here, I'm going to go ahead and click Setup. So we're going to go back to that Setup page. We're going to scroll down, and again, this is in draft, so if I click this public URL link, you'll see it's not available for online registrations yet. Go ahead and close that real quick. We're going to publish the event. We're going to click OK. Perfect. And we'll scroll back down. You can see it says undo publish, and actually if you scroll up here, it says status is now publish. So now I can click on this public URL, and I now see my my form. And you can see here, this is our standard questionnaire. So we disabled everything except first name, last name, and email. We have our consent, so we do require consent. And we also have our groups, so you can select if you're a member or a non-member. And we also have our text, help text that we created up at the top. But you'll notice there's a little box here for the header. So if you have a picture or if you have some text, you can put it in here. So let's go back to the form designer, and we're going to click on header, and this is where we can design that top part there. So you could put a logo on the left or on the right. You can even set a background image if you'd like. So we do have the background images as well as the left logo and the right logo. We also have the content. So if you want 2020, so we could put something like this. We can change the format here to a heading 1, so it's nice and big. Oh, actually, we might want to make it a little bigger. But just like an editor, we'll keep it basic. Let's go 48. We'll center this. There we go. And we'll go ahead and click Save. There we go. So now we have our Dinner Gala 2020. Here you could put where it's being held, what time, all that information you can store up at the top. So go ahead and click Save. We'll just leave this so we can refresh. And there we go. Now we have our Dinner Gala text up at the top. So you can definitely customize this to put in additional information such as the address, the location, and the time. So I think that covers everything over here. We have our header. Perfect. One last thing actually we have to talk about is the payment. So on the left under Form Designer, last option is Payment. So here we have our different payment options. So if we want to take online payments, we can select our online payment account. Because we selected USD, we can select the Sage account. So we'll go ahead and select that. Again, payable by check, we want that, so we'll enable that, and we'll go ahead and click Save. Perfect. And that has been saved. So let's close this. Let's go back to Setup. And let's go ahead and open this. Let's try to register. So we'll go ahead and type in our information. Okay, support@clubrunner.ca. I consent. And in this case, I will select members because I am a member. And we'll go ahead and select options. So you see up at the top, this is some help text. If I click select options, now we'll see this is help text for the packages. So you can actually set the help text for each page. So here we can see the pricing based off of my attendee group that I selected. So 75 and 50. But if I go back and say I'm a non-member, you can now see it's 75 and 100. So it automatically detects that attendee group and displays the pricing based on that. So for now, I'm just going to purchase a single ticket, and I am going with somebody else. So here, under optional add-ons, I can select one additional ticket. So you can see that's $50, and your total is always down at the bottom here. Now for the pins, you can see there's 50 remaining, so we set the total, and there's limit of 5 per person. So if I try typing in 6, you'll get a warning here saying the max is 5. So you'll click OK, and it'll boot you back down to 5. I don't need that many, I just need 2, and that's good enough for me. So we'll go ahead and click Answer Questions. Now when we click Answer Questions, this is going to be the questions that we created in the questionnaire. So not the standard questionnaire, but just the regular questionnaire. You'll see we have, please select a main meal. Right now it's not selected, so let's leave it. Because we set it to required, which you can see with a little R, we'll go ahead and click Continue to Payment. And you'll see, question is required. Please select a response for Shawn, which is me. So we'll go ahead and select chicken. And we'll go ahead and click Continue to Payment section. Now here we have our registration information, and we have the option to apply a promo code. So let's go ahead and apply that promo code we added. So it's called New, and I'll click Apply. I think it was $10 we took off, so let's see. Perfect. So it went from $165 to $155, and promo code New was applied to your order. So now we've got the discount. We can scroll down, and we have 2 payment options. We have credit card, because we enable the online payment, or we have the check. Normally, obviously, you'd fill out the information here. There's no information where to send the check, but you could fill that out through the settings page. If you click Pay by Credit Card, I'll just show you. So it'll take you to this form where you have to fill out your credit card information. I'll go back, and we'll just pay by check. And we'll confirm that. Perfect. And now we have our registration confirmation here. And I'll get an email about it. It'll actually go to our support@clubrunner.ca email. From here you can print, but that's the registration process. Now let's go back into the actual event here. I know we're running out of time, so we're going to quickly go over some of the other functions. So if we want to just quickly view registrations, we can see here I have my registration. It's for $155, but we actually haven't received the payment yet because I said pay by check. If this was if I did pay online, it would automatically record the payment if the payment was successful, and that would show as paid. So from here you can send a reminder that the payment hasn't been received. You can open it or delete it. We'll go ahead and just open it. So you can see the full registration. So here we can see the full registration for myself here and what I've purchased. So say I sent in the check, the clubs received it. We can go in here and we can select pay by check. Enter in the amount. You can enter in a reference number and a description and just click pay. Now, if we scroll down, we see we have a charge here of $155, and we have a payment of $155. So our balance is back to zero. So if I click View Registrations, you'll see it won't show in yellow anymore. That means it's been paid. Now, I know we only have one, but we can also view attendees on the left, so we can see who's attending. We can view payments. So you can see here, this is our reference number that we just entered. And you even have the filter options up at the top. So if you want to filter by name or the actual status, or the payment type, I should say. And we also have the prepare name tags option. So here, you can select the payment status. So if you want to generate the badges for just people who have paid, you can select that. You can include the packages and add on the name tag itself, and you can select the template. So we have a few different templates. Depending on which one you select, it'll actually tell you what type of label to purchase. So it'll give you the code. You just have to go to your store and buy this, put in the printer, and you don't have to worry about formatting. And you do have the option to show theme logo. So once you have that selected, you can hit generate, and it'll generate a Word file for you that you can use to print out those name tags. Now we also have the option to send out emails through MyEventRunner. So we'll go ahead and click Email Service, and click Compose New Message. Oh, okay. So because the user that I'm actually logged in as doesn't have an email address, it won't let us send it, because then the system won't know who to reply back to. But you can compose a new message based on the different packages. So if you wanted to send an email to people who just purchased the individual package rather than the table package, you can do that. You can also send it out to people who purchase specific add-ons. So say we're not going to get the pins in time. We can come into the email center. We can send out an email to people who just purchased the pins, and we can let them know, hey, we're going to ship your pins at a later date because they're delayed, or whatever. But you can send an email based on the actual registration. Okay, now we also have reports. So we have a few different reports. We have the confirmation report. So you can see here, There's the registration, and again, there's only going to be one registration, so it'll only show the one, but obviously if you have more, you can flip through the pages, and you'll have a lot more data here. You can also select the registration status, so if you want to filter by people who haven't paid, you can do that. We have a confirmed registration, a little less information there, but all of it is there. Now we also have reports based on the responses, so by questionnaire, and you could choose which question, so we'll click that one there. We'll click generate, and there we go. So you can see my answer is chicken. And you could do the same for comments. So you can definitely get all that information through the reports, but another thing you can actually do is get a report of all of the information rather than breaking it down into individual reports. So if I click View Registrations, you're going to see here there's an Export to Excel Basic and Full. I'm going to click Full, and it's going to download this Excel file. So let me open it and I'll show you what it looks like. Perfect. So this gives you all of the information for that registration, or for all registrations. So from here, you can easily see what they purchased. So you can see it's one individual ticket, one additional ticket, and 2 pins. You can also see their promo code that they used, how much they owe, and all of that information. And you can even see the question here. It's a little hidden here, so I'll open that. You see, please select a main meal. You can see that I selected chicken. So if you want just a master list of all of the registrations and the information relating to the registration, I would definitely recommend using this Export to Excel Full option. Okay, now another thing we can do, I know we're running out of time, we got a few more minutes here, and then I'll open it up for questions. But on the left here, we have a few different options we haven't yet explored. So we'll go ahead and click Dashboard, and this will just give you the amount of registrations for each individual item. So you can see the individual ticket, one person has paid, the table, nobody has registered for, and additional ticket and pins we have here as one. On the left here, you'll also see there's Add Registration. So if I click Add Registration, you can actually go in and register a member. So if I go in here and let's register Sarah here, so you can select the member directly from here, or you can type in their last name or their first name. So we'll go ahead and click Continue. And this will open up, and you'll see the information's already filled out. So from here, I can go in, just put go members. Get a table of 5, and you'll see here pins. Since I purchased 2 already, there's only 48 remaining. We don't need any add-ons, so we'll just click Answer Questions. Okay, we'll select Vegetarian. Click the payment. No promo code. We will go ahead and say Pay by check. You'll see because we're logged in as an administrator and we're adding the registration through the back end, we can save registration without payment. This normally would not be available for just anyone going through the form and filling it out. So I'll go ahead and click Pay by check, click OK. Perfect. Registration saved successfully. We'll click exit. Now we'll go back here and we see the new registration. So you can definitely go in and add registrations through the back end as well. Now I know I mentioned in the beginning that we had an option to allow for login. So let me just quickly show you what that looks like, because we did disable it. So back in the setup page, allow ClubRunner member login. I'll click OK. I'll check it and I'll click save. Okay, you get your confirmation that it has been saved successfully. We're going to scroll down and we're going to click public URL to open it up. Okay, so now you see here we have this extra section up at the top. It says optional, do you have a ClubRunner login? And if you do, you can add it in here. So if I put in, okay, and I sign in, all it does is it says you're logged in as Sarah, that's good, and it'll autofill your information here. But sometimes what happens is non-members might think that they have to log in order to register. They don't realize that they can actually just go in here and manually fill out their information. So that's an option if the club does want to use it, but just note that it might cause confusion if it is used. Okay, and I think that about covers everything. So what I'll do is I'll open it up to any questions. If anyone has any questions, like I said, please enter them in to the questions box. What I'll do is I'll also go one by one. I'll unmute you and then see if you have any questions. So we'll start with Diana. Do you have any questions, Diana? Okay, no problem. And if you guys don't have a microphone, like I said, you can go ahead and type in the questions box. Okay, Ralph, do you have any questions? Perfect. Thank you very much for confirming that, Ralph. So that pretty much concludes our webinar for today. If you guys do have questions, or if you're not sure how to do something, you can always go to clubrunnersupport.com. We have our link here. Let me quickly show you that before I let you go. So if we go to clubrunnersupport.com, we have our updated news and things like that. We also have a bunch of different articles as well as recorded webinars. So if you miss a webinar, if you forget something, you can always go back. We do record the webinars. And if you're not sure of anything or you need our help, you can always click this Start a Conversation button, and you can use this form to send us a direct email so we can help you out. If you guys do have any questions, definitely feel free to contact us. We're always more than happy to help. And thank you very much for joining us here today. Have a good day.